State Representative Lynn Stuckey here right now, and they have another event that they have to be at. And I want to thank them for showing up, number one. And number two, I want to give each one of them an opportunity just to say a few words. And I thank each and every one of y'all for being here. This is a very special occasion for the city, and we're grateful to be able to share it with you. Judge Clark?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm J.D. Clark. I'm honored to serve Wise County and work with you and for you as county judge. And I know this is a huge day for Aurora. It's a huge day for all of Wise County to see y'all celebrating this, because it's been a long time coming. Tough road and tough things that led here. And I know that with good reason and good legends, good stories, there's a lot of, I know, intention behind seeing a lot of alien logos when you come to Aurora, but you could also make the case that you guys need a phoenix now, rising out of the ashes. And so really proud of you and proud to be here on behalf of Wise County to issue a proclamation for this. Whereas the city of Aurora is gathering on September 9th, 2023 to dedicate its new city hall to serve the public and provide services in the city of Aurora, and whereas the opening of this new city hall should serve as a testament to strength in the face of adversity and the power of united citizens to overcome dark and challenging events, and whereas the county enjoys its partnership and affiliation with the city of Aurora and is proud to see the city of Aurora in its new governmental home, and whereas the county wishes to formally recognize this milestone and celebrate with our friends and partners in the city of Aurora, now therefore I, J.D. Clark, County Judge of Wise County, Texas, do hereby issue this proclamation of congratulations to the city of Aurora and pray that God will continue to bless this great city and all those who call it home. So congratulations, Mayor. Proud of y'all and proud to be here with you.
Thank you, Judge Clark, and we appreciate everything the county does. We have State Representative Lynn Stuckey with us now. And Lynn, I'm going to give it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. As a little over a year ago that Lyle Drescher, who works for me, who's been a 41-year city manager, and I met with the new mayor of Aurora and was a little concerned about, how to get going forward again and move in the right direction. And so we were blessed and honored to be helpful and try to help him get started again with some of the people that Lyle Drescher knows, including Corey, and to make sure that they got going in the right direction. And I want to say that Lori, my wife, who's here right there, and I are very honored to represent Wise County. I had only Denton County till 2021, and now I have Wise County. And when you watch something like this, where these communities come together, and you have people like JD here, and you have law enforcement, and you have the community, it's truly amazing. So I was very encouraged when we sat down with this guy, and the first thing he wanted to do was pray. And as a brother in Christ, I say thank you for all you do and for all you do to give back to the community. And I appreciate and am honored to be a state representative for you guys. If any of you are down to Austin, please come by our office and let us take you to lunch and make sure you stay in contact. So thank you again. And we too have a proclamation, but I don't have it with me, so I hadn't got it back yet. But I'll be back in Austin soon, and I'll bring it back up to you and present it to you at that time, Brian. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for what y'all do and the way your office has helped us out, and we definitely appreciate that. Just like our citizens coming together, our counties has stood behind us. Our neighbors in Boyd, Rodney, Holmes, Mayor Boyd. We've all come together as a community, and we can't do it apart, but we're always stronger together. We've got great law enforcement team. We got our law enforcement team from Rome over here, and Chief Davis is over there. He's going to be speaking a little later. I just wanted to give JD and Lynn an opportunity to address y'all before we start our ceremony tonight. They do have another event that they have to be at tonight. So y'all go enjoy the festivities, and we'll meet back here at 7 o'clock for the ribbon cutting and the ceremony. Thank you. If I can have everybody's attention, where about? What's that? Is it too long? Turn it up. But if I could have everybody's attention, first off, I want to thank everybody for coming here today. It's an honor and a privilege to have each and every one of y'all up here. As y'all know, we've been through a lot in the last few years, and we've worked very hard and tirelessly to get back to where we have a city, to where we have a city staff, to where we have a city hall and a place to call home for the city. And not one person individually could have done it by themselves, but we've worked together as a team. And just like our community, when we come together, we'll be stronger than we've ever been before. And I want to thank each and every person here today. I want to thank our first responders. I want to thank all our volunteers. I want to thank our staff. I want to thank my council members that have been here working hard. We got Rome veterans here that are going to be doing the flag ceremony in a minute, but right now I want to turn it over to Brother Jimmy of the Aurora Baptist Church. He's going to say the prayer for us.
Thank you, Brian. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father, we thank you so much for your blessings. God, thank you that you can produce something beautiful from ashes. God, thank you so much for the dedicated workers and the volunteers that have served tirelessly and committed and sacrificed their time to serve you through the community. And God, we thank you for our first responders. Thank you for their sacrifices. Thank you, Lord, that they risk their lives to keep us safe. And God, who knows? Only you know, and maybe their families, the sacrifices that they make. God, we ask and pray for your direction. And God, thank you that you can take something broken and put it all back together again and produce something beautiful from it. Lord, once again, we want to give you the glory, you the honor, you the praise. Thank you for our veterans that are here today. And God, we ask your special blessings upon them for their service to our great country. And it's in Jesus' name that we ask and pray for these things. Amen.
Okay, at this time, I'd like the Rome's veterans to raise the flags. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, I would like to have the city council members and the city employees come up. Come on, Bill and Deb, Bill, Kristen, Corey, Amy, Jeff. Where's Alex? Okay, at this time, Wise County is going to bring the ribbon, and we're going to have the official ribbon cutting and opening of City Hall. Chamber of Commerce, I'm sorry, Wise Chamber of Commerce.
We'll get everybody kind of in.
Cindy, do you want to give them directions? We're going to take a couple pictures. Don't cut it. Just put it over like we're going to cut it, but don't cut it yet. Yeah, hold them below your face. There you go.
Okay, there's a lot of people up here that have volunteered their time, and a lot of sponsors that have done a whole lot. Parks and Rec has worked very hard on this. Council member, Mayor Pro Tem Deb Terrell worked with Parks and Rec quite a bit, and we thank her for that. Corey's worked a ton on it, and we thank you for that. And Corey has a list of some people that we're going to give special thanks to.
First, as the mayor mentioned, our Parks and Recreation Committee gave so much time and so much thought to this event. We've been planning this off and on for a few months. We had to push the date back a few times, as some of you may have heard, with some delays in construction, which is normal. Obviously not caused by rain, but we finally got here and kind of really pulled it together in the last month and a half or so. Our Parks and Recreation Committee met in official meetings and one-on-one conversations and really just put so much effort in. We would not be here today without them, so thank them first. Then we also have a lot of sponsors who have really helped support all of the activities for this event, for the kids specifically. We have Trinity Utilities and Boring, the mayor's company here, Leopard Grove, Nature's Circle, and Boyle and Lowry, which is our city attorney for the city of Aurora. And then most importantly here, we'd like to recognize Abel Marino. I don't know if he's still here from Waste Connections, but they're a community sponsor for this event, and their funding has allowed for us to do all of these great things and make sure that all of the food and drinks and everything could be provided for free. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you all for supporting us. I think that we were really concerned about what kind of turnout we'd have at an event like this, and I think you've shown the city of Aurora that we need to have more community events. So look forward to those in the coming months.
Thank you. So, like I briefly said earlier, we've all worked very hard, and we couldn't do what we've done today without a united council and a council that has worked together to accomplish the goals that we've accomplished. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your hard work and your dedication and everything that you do. We've also had we've had a lot of great neighbors. Rome, it serves our police needs, and Newark serves fire, and Boyd, they serve fire with us as well, and back up on the police, and everybody's coming together to work together. In small cities, we don't all have all the resources, and we have been able to pull together and come together to work together. And we couldn't really do it without good neighbors. City of Boyd especially, after our city hall burned down, they said, hey, if y'all need someplace to have city council meetings, take our community center. And we did. And when we had to change because our attorneys couldn't make it on the date we set, they said that's fine. They worked with us and they changed with us. When I said, hey, do you mind if we have city hall, rent a building and have city hall in your city too? Rodney said, yeah, just don't put a great big sign up. But we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our community and the communities around us, and I'm just very grateful for everybody and everything that they've done. So right now, for our first speaker, I'd like to bring up Mayor Holmes, Rodney Holmes of Boyd.
Again, it is a very huge honor to be here to speak tonight. The mayor asked me to come and speak. And I just want you to know, speaking for the citizens of Boyd and the council and our staff over there, how proud we are for the community of Aurora and for Mayor Dolan and the council and their staff. I remember Mayor Dolan walking around with a box with a few bills in it because he didn't have anywhere to go and he couldn't get in the bank account. And just, you talk about rising from the ashes and starting from scratch. That's what we've seen over the last year, and it's been amazing, and we have been honored to help, very much so. And you got a beautiful building out of it. We're very proud. Today, I also want to talk about Patriots Day. We're going to have a memorial here in a minute, unveiling on 9/11, and since Monday is Patriots Day, I want to say thank you to the City of Aurora for putting today's event together, and what a beautiful memorial that we're fixing to unveil. Thank you to everyone involved for getting this memorial placed here in the city of Aurora, Texas. There are lots of people that can be called heroes. Today on Patriots Day weekend, we honor the ones who have sacrificed everything to protect us in our way of life. From military personnel, both active and veterans, first responders, and just ordinary citizens like your council here who choose to do the right thing. Again, it's an honor and a privilege to be asked to speak here today to salute our heroes. Immediately after 9/11 happened in 2001, I asked God, what good can come from this? Well, he let me know quickly. Our country was divided a bit before 9/11. I've never seen an event in my lifetime make our country come together as one as 9/11 did. I started to hear stories of the heroes that risked and some gave up their lives to help save others on 9/11 and the weeks after. You realize that more than 1,400 rescuers from the crash sites have lost their lives to infectious diseases since 9/11. They gave all. From the flags flying high to people joining the military. I just talked to a gentleman that was the reason that he joined the Army. To people helping their neighbors, people just showing each other love, regardless of who they were, what they believed, and what they looked like. We were all just Americans. It was tremendous to witness. The problem is that didn't last long enough. Today, our country is as divided as it's ever been, and our way of life is being challenged every day. In our government, in our schools, even in our churches, and our everyday life. But we may not be able to control what happens in Washington, D.C. or Austin, but we can control what happens right here in Wise County and especially in Aurora. Y'all control that. I urge you to get out and vote this November and every election after that, especially local elections. That is where your voice can be heard. It's time to fight for our values. We can all agree that it should not take a horrible event to bring our country together. People need to learn to love, respect, and help each other again. Today's event is a fine example of that. What love and fellowship we're seeing here today. And it's up to each and every one of us to keep it going. Each and every one of us. Thank you and happy Patriots Day.
Thank you, Mayor Holmes. We appreciate that, and we're grateful for the Patriots that are here today. Now I'd like to call up Chief Debus.
I'm Chief Eric Debus of the Rome Police Department. I'd like to thank the mayor and the council members that have entrusted law enforcement for the city of Aurora to my team, standing to my right. We're excited to be a part of this, and we're excited about the growth, and we're just excited about the future of Aurora. So every year, members of our communities, along with firefighters, police officers, and other first responders, gather to remember the tragic events from September 11th, 2001. Well, just recently on the radio, I heard a guy say, you know, we're going to forget about 9/11 in just a few more years. Just like we've mostly forgotten about December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, as President Franklin D. Roosevelt stated. But here we are, 22 years later, and we are here to remember. And I think we're going to continue to remember. But why? Why is it important 20 years later and even beyond that we should remember? Well, we remember for the past, we remember for our present, and we remember for the future of this great country. We remember the past, for those lost that fateful, terrible day, the falling man, the firemen climbing the towers, those on the planes, those that fought back, police officers rushing to the scene, the woman who was falling, but holding her dress down in a final act of modesty. We remember these people from the past and the sacrifices they made that fateful day. Those people in those towers, they knew their fate was sealed. They were forced to jump from the burning buildings, and they weren't choosing to die. They were choosing how to die. Some jumped alone, some in pairs, some even in groups. We honor their bravery amidst all that terror around them. We don't know who the woman was who in her final act in such a human way held her dress down as she fell to her death. Her courage to face her death with humility should be an example for all of us and certainly worth remembering. Throughout my law enforcement career, I've seen on the faces of others the expressions of pain, joy, excitement, terror, happiness, and profound sadness. I had the opportunity a few years back to go to New York with my son Jack, and while we were there, we went to the 9/11 Memorial. It was there while visiting the 9/11 Museum, I saw a picture of a fireman climbing one of the Twin Towers on 9/11, and the look on his face is something I'll never forget. It was the look of a man that, knowing the odds were stacked heavily against him, chose to climb and do his duty. His sacrifice that day from the past, along with all the others, is worth remembering and it's worth honoring. And why do we remember them? It's to honor them, to praise them, and to give thanks to God that there's people like them. So now here in our present time, we're reminded that there are those that, knowing the risk, and are willing to serve. We honor those that are among us that are just like that, the firefighters, the police officers, the deputies, that stand ready to give their life for the lives of others. Your Rome firefighters, Rome police officers, along with all the other first responders, they're willing to put their lives at risk so others won't have to. We know that according to the good book, in John 15:13, it states, "No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend." Well, those sons and daughters, fathers and mothers, the children and parents of 9/11 that were willing to lay down their life for others are most certainly worth remembering. And our current group of heroes among us stand ready to give their life so that others may live, and they too are worth remembering. And so for our future, we're blessed to live in a nation, these United States, that is filled with the next generation of heroes that stand ready to do their duty, to stand up for those that can't stand up for themselves. We honor the future for those young ones that will step into the fight when called upon and will sacrifice themselves in honor of our nation and in honor of God. My team today, some of us climbed the tower in Dallas in memory of 9/11, the Dallas stair climb, and Kobe Ritchie was there. He's an 18-year-old firefighter. And I thought, there's our future. There's an 18-year-old who's willing to give up his life. So here on this anniversary of the 9/11 tragedy, we do remember. We remember the past so that we're reminded of our present, and the certainty of a future that will always remember those heroes. The sacrifice they gave on that fateful day is why we're here, and their sacrifice is most certainly worth remembering. God bless those heroes, God bless Texas, and God bless the United States of America.
All right, so y'all all know we're talking about 9/11, and obviously that's what our display is going to be about. But it was brought to my attention earlier today that some of the first responders that were in the parade this morning, because the first responders, we felt like since they're first responders, they needed to be the first to see what we had, the first to touch it, and the first to put it up on the mantle. But some of those first responders, looking at them, we realized that they probably weren't even born when 9/11 happened. You know, the older you get, the quicker years go by, so you don't think about things like that. But there are a lot of people that don't even really, that did not live through it, that are part of the first responders, and they can hear about it and see about it, but they didn't live through it like a lot of us did. So it's a very special occasion that we're able to have this. So with that, Chief Estes, I'd like to bring you up.
Hello everyone, and glad y'all could come, and this is a beautiful building, and I'm glad y'all got it done. It looks nice. My name is Scott Estes. I'm the Fire Chief at Rome Fire Rescue Department. I've been in it a little over 40 years doing this job, and on September 11th, 2001 was a day that I will truly never forget. I was on duty that day, not New York, but in the Metroplex. And a buddy of mine was over in Dallas Dallas going to a training class with a bunch of military people. We were about the only 2 firefighters in there with all the military. And it was the second day of class. We were having a lecture, and all of a sudden, back in those days, everybody wore pagers. So the military kept getting pages early that morning, and they kept leaving, and we were wondering what's going on. So the instructor finally decided that, well, since half the class is gone, we'll take a break. We walked out in the hallway, and that's the day that we noticed up on TV monitors. That was when the tires were being struck by the airplanes and starting to rumble. First thought in my mind was, there's going to be a lot of death, a lot of firefighters, a lot of people die. It's going to be bigger than we've ever seen before in this country in my lifetime. We both received pages telling us to go back to the station, and as we walked back to the hotel to go out to come back to the station, it was one of the eeriest feelings I've ever seen. Dallas is never that quiet, and especially on 75 and the mixed masters, so it was just this very eerie feeling. After we got our belongings, we went back to the station, and the drive back was just deafening. No planes, no cars, no nothing. And we kept the radio off, and we just drove in silence. Once we got back to the station, we arrived, and we were told that we could be deployed out to DFW Airport to cover the firefighters. They were cross-trained. They were going to carry guns, and we were going to carry the hoses. So, and thank God nothing happened out there. But the TV and the destruction we saw and the cowardly act against the United States, that day will always be known as 9/11. And on 9/11, we witnessed one of the worst days for the signal for American firefighters. But the next day, 9/12, as the mayor was talking about, is what brought our nation together as one. And I'll read a quote by Jeff Parness. I found this on the internet, and he's the founder of New York Says Thank You. He goes, when Americans lend a hand to one another, nothing is impossible. We're not about what happened on 9/11, we're about what happened on 9/12. Today as a nation, as a state, country, as a city, my prayers are that we come together to never ever forget September 11th, 2001, and remember the feeling of pride the next day of September 12th, 2001. We had the ability to forget our biases, our hatred for others that don't think exactly the way we think they should think. And we pulled together and forgot all about our minor problems. We pulled together to build New York back and this nation back stronger. My hope with each year and with each remembrance on 9/11 of these that perished the way they did brings us closer together, builds us stronger as a nation, as a state, as a county, city, that we can all feel safe in. If we try to see each other's views and strive to build up and not tear down one another, we can have a beautiful, prosperous place for all citizens to live. So never ever forget firefighters 343, police 60, paramedics 8, workers in the fires, and the people on the planes that perished, 2008, 52. Those all perished. I'd like to thank you, and now if we could have all the first responders circle around the monument over here, I think they're gonna unveil it. Okay. Thank you.
So the name of the piece is
rising up out of the ashes, which is what we felt like we've done. And Councilmember Pellegrini about a year ago said, "Hey, I know a guy that knows a guy that can get us a piece of history." So we've been working on this for about a year now, and it's finally all come together. It was here, stored here in Aurora for about the last month and a half while we were getting ready for the open house. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ron so he can tell you the story about the fire department.
And I'll make it quick. I'm Ron Pellegrini, and I had the privilege and the pleasure to know a few of the firefighters in New York. I called one of my friends, Paul Fierro, who's now a retired firefighter, who spent 31 days straight on the pile. Never going home, never calling, just spending 31 days straight looking for people and trying to find out who is still out there. He met his friend Tom Cutter, who also was a firefighter for Marine 6. And they didn't have any water hydrants to put the fire out. So when they were doing it, putting the fire out, they were using water boats and they were pumping water from the river. So Marine 6, Safety Battalion, and the Marine Operations in the Brooklyn shipyard, those are the folks that were putting the fire out, and the fire lasted for several weeks, as you all know. And I said to Paul, is there any chance that we might be able to find a small piece of 9/11 in New York? And the answer was no, probably not, because it's 22 years, Ron, and a lot of that has disappeared. A lot of that is on barges floating in the New York harbor. But let me check. And after about 3-4 months of searching, they found one beam, one piece from one of the towers, a 6-foot piece. And selfishly, I asked for that 6-foot piece, and the answer was no, you can't have all 6 feet. But however, we will cut you a piece of that steel beam from one of the towers. And they did. They cut that beam. They prayed on that beam. They actually got the firefighters that had retired, they got them together and they all took a toast around that beam. They packaged it, they prayed over it, and they brought it to the great state of Texas. And what they said to me at the end was, Ron, thank you. Thank you for remembering. We feel like a lot of people have forgotten what happened. And so thank you for just taking a small piece of New York and bringing it into your small city. Rising from the ashes. 9/11, never forget. 343. If you hear the 343, that's how many firefighters we lost, 343. They have a boat that they have just christened over the last couple of years. It's called the 343. And metal from those beams is attached to those boats. So again, I couldn't be more happier and just proud to have a piece of 9/11, a piece of New York City, a piece of our brothers and sisters from New York here in our little small town of Aurora, Texas. Thank you, first responders, all of you, for all that you do, and thank you for helping us celebrate this great occasion. We appreciate all that you do every day. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. And just so everybody knows, on 9/11, on Monday, at 6:15 before our council meeting, we will be having a memorial here with the first responders. We'll have a moment of silence. We have a pastor coming to pray over the event. And as many of y'all that can make it, y'all are welcome to come. We'd love to have you here. We do appreciate everybody coming today. We'll let y'all get back to the festivities, the hot dogs, snow cones, face painting, tattoos, jump houses, and everything else. And don't forget about the watermelon eating contest. I heard there might be a seed spitting contest later. We're in the country, so you know we got to do things like that. But I thank each and every one of y'all for being here. Y'all are welcome to come up and look at the memorial, take pictures of it, whatever you want to do. It is for the city, and it's for our citizens and for our neighbors around us. We thank you and God bless you. I hope your night is filled with joy
and we just want to thank everybody. Thank you.